Good morning everyone. In this video we are going to understand the virtual function in C++. But before we understand virtual functions, we should know a problem that we face in a inheritance, and the solutions of that problem is the virtual functions. Virtual function is a concept comes in order to solve a problem that we generally face in inheritance. So first we understand a basic of inheritance, and we will see the problem that comes in inheritance concept, and then we will solve the problem with the help of virtual functions. So let's implement an inheritance concept. So I'm using a single inheritance. I will create two class, base class and derived class. So first we will import iostream using name space std. Now we will create two class, one is base class and one is derived class. Class base, this will the base class. I'm using one function void display that will just give the output as base class. This is a simple base class, and now I will create a derived class. So here I created a derived class, and within the public sections I'm going to override the display functions. So here I have created two class, base class and derived class. Both are having a display functions. In the derived class, the base class is inherited and this display functions is getting overridden. Now I will just create a main functions, and we will create a base class pointer and created a derived class instance. So derived class object is created, and that object is referred with the base class pointer. Now I will call our display functions. Here we have to observe one thing, that we are using a display functions and the type of its variable is base class pointer. So ideally what we'll see, display functions of the derived class should be executed because we have created the object of derived class. Okay, so let's run and see the result. So here we can see the base class display functions executed. So this function is getting executed, but why? We are expecting the derived class output should come. So we are expecting this display function should be executed, but it is executing the base class display functions. Why it is happening? It is only happening because this is a compile time binding. So what is this exactly? When the program is getting compiled, it will see the display functions and it will look the type of the display functions. It will see the type of the display functions base class, so it will associate the display functions of the base class. So that is the reason it is executing the base class display functions. Why? Because at the compile time only it get decided that which display function is going to be executed. Okay, because it will look the type of the instance, but here we are expecting the derived class display function should be executed. So this is the problem that we are facing in inheritance concept, and the solution of this problem is we have to associate this display functions with a virtual keyword. So I'm adding virtual keyword here. Now as we have created display functions as a virtual functions, we don't need to write again the virtual keyword here. Even though if we write, we don't face any issue, but it will be get automatically added. Now what will happen when we add virtual keyword with the display functions? So let's see, first let's see the output, then I will tell you what is happening inside. Okay, so we run with the program. So here we can see the derived class getting executed. So we got the solutions. Now we got the answer as we expected. We were expecting derived class, so we are getting the derived class. Now what happened when we add the virtual keyword? As we add the virtual keyword with the display functions, it will not bind at the compile time, rather it will bind at runtime or dynamic binding. Okay, so what will happen? We see that we have created a derived class instance and assigning it with the base class pointer. Now the display functions will see the type of its base class and will look the display functions. So we see the type of the base class is base, so we goes to the base class and it will see the display functions. We saw the display functions and we find that display function is associated with the virtual keyword. So as the compiler see that the function is associated with the virtual keyword, it is not going to be bind at the compile time, Rather, at the runtime, it will check the content of B. In the heap, we created the derived class. It has the address. That address is stored in the B variable, and this B variable, we have the address of the derived class. It will check the address of the derived class and it will call the display functions of the derived class. Why it is happening? It is only happening because the compiler see that virtual keyword is associated with the display functions, so it avoid the compile time binding and it let the program to bind the display function at the runtime. So this is the reason we are using the virtual keyword, and in some other video we will see the internal implementations of the virtual functions. If you like this video, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe it.